One. Hi there. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and platforms and everywhere. We're like a virus. We're everywhere. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Jay Silverman here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Jay, and I have had the really distinct pleasure of dissecting the first version of 21 Seeds. And the first one was the grapefruit hibiscus. And I asked Jay off camera, I said, what is the natural progression? How should we taste these? And you were the one that gave us this, in what sequence we're going to taste these. So today we've got the Valencia orange version. And we flipped over the grapefruit hibiscus. I think it's just completely versatile, really unusual, but in a good way. I'm using a Stasel Jarrito. This one is generally used for mezcal, even though I will say these tequilas come in at 35 ABV. So they are, actually, let me check on this one. I want to make sure because sometimes they'll change the horse in midstream and I'm not too sure.
I think they're 35.
Yes, it's 35. Okay. So we loved the sequence, the way the aroma and the flavor profile of the original, the grapefruit and hibiscus, because it was really you could get the two, not necessarily on the nose though, because it was pretty much grapefruit forward. On this one, yeah, this one also the more orange, right?
The Valencia orange is nice. I mean, you can tell there was a certain type of orange. It's really a beautiful aroma to me. The first impression, it's interesting stuff. I mean, there's really nothing else like this tequila right now on the market.
Well, not like this. The funny thing is, this year there's been an explosion of RTDs, ready to drinks.
Yeah.
And they're coming in with some really unusual, lovely flavor profiles. Some of them are meh, and some of them are really cutting edge. And this one I will tell you, they're using 100% agave tequila. They're not using a mixto. Lovely orange. This is really like it smells like an over the top Highlands tequila. You know how you get that citrus, but you know that this is fruit. This is not an orange blossom. It's not even a dried orange. It smells very fresh.
It's almost like having a tequila and like an orange curacao in the same bottle. So it's almost like a time saver. It's like, I got to decide here. I can only pick one. I need to make margaritas. I got to make some margaritas. It's essential. And I can only get one bottle. Get this, you got to have like a orange curacao built in. But there's also a nice little burst of agave, and it's got a really nice aroma. It's slightly less sweet to me than the grapefruit hibiscus, but it's apples and oranges. It's grapefruit and orange.
Yeah, it's really different. What I will say is, I remember on the intake, and I forgot to mention this on the grapefruit hibiscus, that not only could I discern the hibiscus and obviously the grapefruit, but somewhere in the middle, the agave was present as well. The tequila isn't lost, even though it's at 35 ABV. I think depending on how the recipe was being engineered, had they gone maybe with a higher proof, they might have lost some of the qualities of the hibiscus, and maybe that's
right. Maybe that's it's subtle. But one thing I wanted to mention the last time, but this labeling is so nice. It reminds me of like a warm, what do you call those nice colorful blankets that they use in their social media? But it's like the labeling's great, the packaging's great. It almost reminds me of those new Kettle One botanicals. They have a colorful cucumber infused vodka that's been kind of taken the market by storm. Done nicely as far as like kind of ready to mix spirits that are going to give you a little bit of a leg up if you want to make some cocktails. They did a good job with that.
Well, we did nominate them as a brand of promise in their packaging. The packaging is just right on. I mean, it was really interesting because we normally get contacted either by the brand owner or the PR company, but in this case, we got the branding company that's responsible for the 21 Seeds branding was the one that reached out to us, and we said, well, that's different, because usually it's a PR company that sends out feelers or the social media people. But we got solicited by the branding company responsible for the look. And if you see the back of this label, it adds a color. There's like orange stripes through it. The other one has more of the grapefruit stripe color through it. And I think it adds color to the juice, because when you pour the juice, it's really very light. And that's what's disarming, Jay, is that the color is light, but the flavor is really prominent.
I just wanted to add, it's very warm and inviting, but it goes really well with the spirit. It's very warm and inviting aroma, because it goes really nicely.
Now you've got your Salsa Jarrito for tequila. I'm using mine for mezcal that I generally use for mezcal, but I'm going to dive in. Let's see what this tastes like. I gotta tell you, man, I'm still getting like an orange rind, not a zest, but a rind. I'm getting it on the back of my palate, and that's not a bad thing. This is what I loved about the grapefruit, is that it's like the fruit is giving you the finish, not the booze. I don't know if that makes any sense, but cigars are like that for me. Some cigars are very mellow and there's hardly no aftertaste, and others are a bit more robust. This goes in like a lamb but finishes like a lion.
I really like it. I think it has a great robust flavor, but I think it's very well balanced overall. It's almost like having a cocktail built into a glass. Like, yes, you could mix it with soda, but just to drink it on its own. One of the things that comes to mind for me that would be really exciting is to take a big pour of this, chill it down in a martini glass, put a nice orange twist on it to emphasize the orange. And then even if you happen to have, like, it reminds me of like my days as an Italian restaurant cook. Well, if you had like a piece of fennel, you could do that classic fennel and orange martini. Oh man, that's kind of what we'll see. I might have something in store later. I don't have any fennel right now, but be good with basil too.
Absolutely with basil. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I've been buying this like Thai basil at the Asian market. It's like $2 for this massive, beautiful bunch of Thai basil. And
now, do you muddle that when you make a cocktail? Do you muddle that like you would mint, or do you just place it?
Mike, I think muddling's overrated. When you shake or stir, you don't want to bruise the herbs. So with basil being so delicate, you can tear it and throw it into your cocktail. You don't really need to muddle it that much. Muddling it's kind of over, you're overexerting the herb on that one.
Okay. No, I see. I learned something new. I'm not a big cocktail guy, but I know that Jay's got a lot of experience with that, and that's why I asked that question, because lately we've been, with one of our other tasters, I've had some exotic agave spirits, and he'll pull stuff out like that. Like I asked him, I said, what is basil verbena or something? Something.
Yeah, I have here too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he explained it to me, because sometimes you read the tasting notes and they don't ring a bell with you, because you're not sure what verbena is, and he really broke it down for me, and so that's why I look to you guys to not only explain it to me, but to the people who are listening and watching, because we may be as clueless as the rest of them, but guys like you are an expert on how to use something like this, so that we're all stuck at home quarantine. We may as well be drinking good stuff, right?
This is so versatile. Another thing that just comes to mind, I just had kind of a flashback to the old agave days. something, when you say quarantine, like for me, you know, we have a market down the street and I'll go if I have to, but
show them the mask you're using when you go down.
the cocktails that I do this summer, I want to make it so that anybody can find this stuff at any market. So,
Okay.
perfect example, raspberries. You know, you treat yourself to a package of raspberries.
Yeah.
Take 6 raspberries and raspberry and orange together. Shake it really hard. That's a perfect example of like the fruit you don't need to muddle it because the raspberries are delicate. The ice is going to muddle it for you.
Right.
Throw this into a shaker with just a few raspberries and a squeeze of lime. You don't really need any additional sugar, although I have been playing around with I'm kind of experimenting with like different sugars. I have this rock candy sugar I got at the Asian market. And because I got bored with just agave nectar and everything, and instead of simple syrup, I've kind of been playing around with like, I got this for like $1.50. You know, it's a whole box of rock candy, made of rock candy. But
You're getting ready for Halloween, bro.
I really like the palm sugar. It was like $1.50, and it was it's beautiful. It has this like almost like nutty paste-like quality. It would go great in a cocktail with this stuff. I mean, this stuff is great on its own, but it's definitely versatile and I think it's kind of designed for mixology, but it is really well balanced on its own. I mean, you don't need to mix anything with it.
No. As a matter of fact, and I don't even like to chill my tequila. I don't put it in the freezer. I'm not like the Rock where I gotta show it to you all foggy and everything like that. Because I got news for you folks. If you got to put your tequila in the freezer, you're drinking it wrong, or it's not something you like. Okay. The last person I knew who did that, he would put his Yukon Jack in the freezer. But this one, I think it would be even refreshing chilled. I never thought I would say that because I like my tequila at room temp.
Martini. Think of it in like a martini type of setting, you know.
Right. So the glass is chilled as opposed to the juice itself, right?
Well, you're killing the liquid, but it's just the, very subtle enhancement of vermouth if you want to. This would pair really well with a dry vermouth or a Lillet Blanc. So if you happen to have a couple of these bottles that you want to get rid of that you have at your home bar, the vermouth, the white vermouth, the dry vermouth, you really have to refrigerate it. I don't think people want to keep that in their fridge all year. And you go through it so slowly that you need ways to use it. This is good stuff, man. I really like the Valencia Orange flavor profile. I think it's less sweet. It doesn't have.
It doesn't. It's only orange, so it doesn't have that Blanco tequila infused with Valencia oranges and other natural flavor. So I'm not sure what that other natural flavor is. If it's natural, then it's okay. It's not going to hurt you. Right now there's a big debate about using additives, and additives are allowed under the normas. So I wouldn't be afraid of that at all, unless it's been overdone and it's completely cloying. Now this one, we'll even give you a recipe, the Skinny Seeds recipe for the Skinny Margarita. It's only 100 calories. Otherwise, I mean, it is a sister and sister ownership. And let me give you some quick notes on that. It's Kate Hantas and Nicole Hantas and Manuel, and their close friend Sarika Singe of 21 Seeds empowers an audience of millennial women to connect across borders, share ideas, and make every drink and every moment special. So they have a really neat message that they're promoting. They have some killer. The flavor profiles are killer, and obviously it's inspiring to you because you're off the cuff. We should call these cocktails off the cuff.
Yeah. The primary thing I would do is just a batch of margaritas. You can just tell it's going to make a killer batch of margaritas. You can't go wrong with that. So you don't have to sit around and try to come up with all these fussy special cocktails for it. I'm daydreaming, but I think I would probably just make a kick butt margarita and call it a day. I think these would be great skinny margaritas. You don't really need their recipe asks for a quarter ounce of simple syrup, which is like, barely adding sugar. It's going to balance it a little bit, but Yeah, it's going to be a really good margarita.
Excellent. Well, that's our take on 21 Seeds, a Brand of Promise nominee, again in the infused tequila category. This is the Valencia Orange. Go get it. I don't know if we have any price points on any of this stuff right now. They're fairly new, but they are an award winner. It comes out of, let me give you the really quick background on this. It comes out of Destilería del Valle, which is known 1438. A lot of great brands come out of there. A lot of really reputable brands like Casa Maestri, Siempre, and a few others. And and I always point out the other dogs that come out of there, but primarily they have some really great award-winning. Vivir's another one that comes out of there. So I'm really happy with what they've done here. You can, like Jay said, they're taking their own sweet time with this, and I think they did a great job. But that's our take on 21 Seeds. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Jay Silverman, Senor Silverman on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us also on Instagram. Subscribe. If you subscribe to us, you should subscribe to him as well. Follow us all on all of our social platforms. But the bottom line is, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, friends.